results that were actually about a Christian ASMR. It is 2 a.m. and I'm sleepless, and you will hear me saying that again because I had trouble editing this video. I hope you like it. Just as a side note, I will be switching microphones soon, so I hope I bring you better quality. I hope you like it. I hope it helps you. Um, so, let's get started. Also, if there's any topic you would like me to talk about or discuss about the Bible, or if you have any requests for an ASMR video, let me know. But as I said, if there's anything regarding the Bible you want me to talk about in some other video, or a spiritual lesson, or a doubt you have, any question, just let me know, and we'll get to an answer together. I am sleepless. It's about 2 a.m. I just cannot sleep. And I decided I was gonna do something good with my time rather than wasting it staring at my ceiling or listening to an ASMR video. I'm not saying that's bad, I'm just saying I cannot sleep, so it's pointless. So I decided I was gonna do a quick video with this instrument right here. It is a new King James Version of the Bible, so I will be doing sort of a Bible study slash commentary, and I want to begin in, I believe it's pronounced Ecclesiastes, whatever it is. It is a very popular book because of its second verse, which says, "Vanity of vanities." It says the preacher, "Vanity of vanities, all is vanity." The word vanity can also be translated as absurdity, frustration, nonsense. I like to add the word foolishness, although it's not exactly a scholar thing. I just think it can kind of be a synonym. Sorry if I'm looking down. It's really hard to concentrate on a microphone up here and a camera up here and me down below. So I'm actually gonna try to move this. Oh goodness. Anyways, so I'll start with the verse on Ecclesiastes 1:18, and it says, For in much wisdom there is much grief, and he who increases knowledge increases sorrow." So basically this is that we notice what causes pain, and we notice things we didn't notice before. In my case, well, there's many things, but if it's a better example is spiritual growth. You see, we tend to be blind on about what we're actually going through, physically or spiritually. And when we start learning that we have been wrong, then we start feeling guilt and pain. But that's because we know it's wrong. So I believe this is what this verse is talking about. An interesting thing is that Ecclesiastes, the preacher, uh, whoever wrote this, it is believed it was Solomon, but some other people doesn't believe that. But that's a different topic. Whoever wrote this, if you actually read through Ecclesiastes, you will notice that it was a depressed person. That's something not many people says, and in fact, I don't usually hear much about this book other than the first verse I wrote at the beginning of chapter 3, which is time to be born, time to die, time to plant, and whatever. I'm not saying it's not important, I'm just saying it continues. And towards the end, when it tells to remember God in the days of our youth, let me fix the camera. Well, but you see, when you read through the book, you realize that whoever Ecclesiastes was, whoever the preacher was, wasn't in a very good emotional state. That's why he sees everything as vanity, everything as absurdity or a frustration. If we read verse 3, chapter 1, what profit has a man from all his labor in which he toils under the sun? One generation passes away and another generation comes, but the earth abides forever. Now, I hope you can hear me because I'm looking down as I'm reading. When you pay attention to what he's saying, he's basically saying everything is useless. Everything we do is pointless, which we know it's not true because, many people has done many good things, has left a legacy, including Ecclesiastes himself. Yet sometimes in our spiritual life, we get to a point, and even just our normal life, when we believe for X reason that things are going too wrong, or that things are just pointless, or we don't want to live anymore, or we just don't want to do anything anymore because everything seems out of place, or everything seems just absurd, or just stupid, or whatever. But the interesting thing is that Ecclesiastes does tell us to remember God in the day of our youth. On chapter 12, in chapter 12 it says, remember your Creator on the days of your youth, before the difficult days come, and the years draw near them, and the years draw near when you say, I have no pleasure in them. Now, you see, the thing is that when you start learning about God at a much younger age, then once you get older, you tend to have not more faith, but you kind of have a larger connection, larger story with God, and you know He is there, and you have experienced Him a little more. And interestingly enough, it almost seems like Ecclesiastes is saying that even that is pointless. And I say it almost seems like, because the book itself seems so depressing. He's just saying everything in life is pointless. But then he does tell us, remember your God, remember your Creator. And that's something that we tend not to do. And in fact, I hadn't been praying in for a couple days, and I felt really bad about it. I just couldn't get myself to do it. And tonight I'm sleepless. And then I was remembering God, and I was remembering, He's done many great things for me, and I just kind of put Him aside. So then I decided, you know what, I'm gonna make this video. And well, here I am, aren't I? Now you might be thinking, what is the whole point of the video? There really is not a set goal or lesson for the video or for the study, because it just happened randomly. I mean, it's 2 a.m. But it's more a commentary. And you see, I learned these last years, I kind of went through the phase that Ecclesiastes did. You start looking for knowledge, for wisdom, and sometimes you even fall on the error or the mistake of trusting in your own wisdom, trusting in your own whatever, your own mind, your own knowledge. And it so happens that when I started doing that, because I've been preaching and going and reaching some different churches, I fell into the mistake of believing I was doing all the work, and that's when everything starts failing. It just starts, you just start falling down. And when I had to preach at my school, it was really late at night. It was like 12, and I thought I had a sermon ready or a little reflection ready. And but I wanted to let God use me and inspire me. So I prayed, I opened my Bible, and I couldn't put it down. Like, there were so many verses in Proverbs and Ecclesiastes and the Psalms that I wanted to use. I think it was Proverbs. Proverbs was the main one, but there were so many stuff that I wanted to use, and it was just hard to pick. But you see, that's what happens when you let God inspire you. I know I'm kind of jumping from one thing to another, but as I said, this is just a commentary, a reflection, with the aid of the Bible. And so, as I was saying, Ecclesiastes seems to be depressed during this period that he's writing the book. Yet he wrote it with a purpose, although he said everything was vanity and everything was just a frustration and absurdity and nonsense. Even then, he wrote the book. And then through the book of Ecclesiastes, we can learn that we are not alone. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, and that's a topic that I want to touch later on with the same book of Ecclesiastes and the Bible, of course. Now, I want to invite you, if you are someone who doesn't usually open the Bible or hasn't done it or just has trouble believing what the Bible says, uh, don't start by trying to read the complicated stories. I know it's awesome to read what Jesus did, or it's interesting for those of you who might not believe it. But when you start with Proverbs, let me tell you, it's gonna change your perspective. Because when you read Proverbs and you you realize that there's so much knowledge there that was given by God that wouldn't have a purpose to talk about God in it, because it's just so good that sometimes it doesn't even seem like you will need to put God in it, and yet God is there because those who wrote Proverbs received the knowledge from God. Now, when it comes to Ecclesiastes, we see a depressed person, we see a depressed preacher, and yet he wrote the book and he lets people know, everything is just stupid, everything is absurd, sorry. Everything is just vanity, everything is wrong, whatever, however you want to put it. And I think that we all go through that stage of everything is wrong, everything is bad. And that is perfectly normal as humans. And we can, we have the Bible as an example. I mean, when you look at, there's other people in the Bible that when you read stories about them, they just wish they could die at the moment. I forgot the name. I think it was Elijah, either Elijah or Isaiah. I don't remember. Who wanted to die when he was being persecuted. So yeah, we come to that point. Now, to expand a little more on Ecclesiastes, I want to read chapter 3, or part of chapter 3, and it says, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck what is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up, time to weep and time to laugh, time to cast away stones and time to gather stones, time to gain and time to lose, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace." Now, I know I didn't read all of them, and I didn't read them completely. That's because I just think that sometimes it's unnecessary because you get this, it's the same idea. But going back to the theme, there's a time for everything. And there's got to be a time in our life when we got to grow up spiritually, and we got to suffer spiritually, and we got to just go through certain circumstances, because that's what's going to make us grow. I believe there's a balance in this life. There's good things and bad things. And there's always going to be someone doing good, and there's always going to be someone doing evil. There's always going to be something good happening, and there's always going to be something bad happening. But everything has its time. Everything in our life has its time, whether we want that time to be there or not. Now, you might be wondering, but when is that bad time going to stop? When is that bad time going to become a good time? And let me tell you, sometimes it is time for us to make it a good time, to deal with our problems, to just let God help us, and that is something we sometimes don't do. So I want to invite you to read your Bible a little more, pray more, pray to God like He's a living being who's listening to, because that's what He is. I want to invite you to have a more tight relationship with God. And if you're feeling down, if you're feeling depressed, read Proverbs, read the Bible, seek help, go out with friends, do fun stuff, but not stupid fun stuff, just nice fun stuff, and read the Bible. It helps a lot. This was Porter 14. If there's anything you will like me, no, I'm just gonna leave it for the beginning. So, have a great night.